Welcome to Best Life 30, your 30-day journey to creating the best life possible for yourself. You can just watch this video, or if you want to, sign up for the entire series for free and get the bonus companion worksheets that go with this video. Check the link in the description below. All right, today is day 3, and we're gonna learn how to find our values.
So the infinite game exists up here. The finite game exists down here. Right? The infinite game includes the why, what I call our purpose, cause, or belief. It's the vision of the company. It's where we're going. It's something that we will never practically reach in our lifetimes or ever, but we will die trying. That's the point, right? It's different from a big, hairy, audacious goal, which for all practical purposes you could reach. It may be difficult, but you could reach it. This is an ideal. It's a vision of the world. So my vision, I imagine a world in which the vast majority of people wake up every single morning inspired to go to work, feel safe when they're there, and return home fulfilled at the end of the day. That is my vision, right? We will never practically get there, but we will die trying. The United States was founded with a document called the Declaration of Independence, in which the document stated, all men are created equal. Now, the United States has not achieved that, and will never achieve that. But the country is at its best when we're trying to achieve that. Civil rights, women's suffrage, gay rights, the universal education, universal healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. This is where our values exist. Our values are timeless. They do not change every year whenever we have a strategic offsite, and if they do, you have a problem. That happens in big companies. Every few years, a new CEO comes in and they have a values thing, and they change, and they change, and they change. No, your values are your values, right? And they're based on your founders, and they exist from patterns of how you operate when you are operating at your natural best. When your company is operating at its natural best, when all cylinders are firing, when you're in the flow, whatever euphemism you want to use, there is a pattern that emerges. And that pattern are your values. There's a minimum of 3, there's no more than 5. If there's more than 5, there's usually redundancy. You can find overlap, that you can find lowest common denominators. And they are intractable. These things are inherently intangible and hard to measure, right? Which is why they often get brushed aside. It's not that they don't exist, they're just hard to measure. Then down here you have the finite. It's what I call the what. It's all the tangible stuff, right? Things like our interests exist down here. Because they are tangible, they are inherently easy to see and easy to measure, like products sold, money taken in, things like that, right? Number of clients we have. The way you build an infinite business is you want to run all decisions first through your values and your cause, and then through your interests. That's how it works.
Step number 2 in the process of structuring or creating this world-class life, your 5 non-negotiable values. Really important to look at your values. What are values? Values are what you're going to value as you go through your days, as you go through your weeks, as you go through your life. Values could be, what are mine? I value beauty. So I want to be around beauty as much as possible. I love art galleries. I love nature. I love sunset. I love looking at the stars. I love beautiful food, simply prepared with people who I love. I love beautiful conversations. I love beautiful books, because a home with a large library is a wonderful home to be in. So step number 2 in this process to set yourself up for a spectacular life, what are your 5 non-negotiable values? Maybe it's you'll be around beauty every day. Maybe it's no matter what the situation is, I will always live with integrity. Maybe one of your non-negotiable values will be, I will exercise even when I don't feel like it. Maybe one of your non-negotiable values will be family first. I don't know. These are just some things that I want you to think about.
If you're familiar with my work, you know for the last 34 years, I've been just obsessed with wanting to know what makes the difference in the quality of people's lives. Why is it so many people have big dreams, but such a small number of people ever make those dreams a reality? And for those that do make it a reality, what is it that gets them not only to follow through, but then to enjoy what they have? I don't know if you've ever had the experience of achieving something that you've always wanted, and then afterwards thinking to yourself, is this all there is? It's one of the worst feelings, It's almost worse than failing, because when you fail, at least you know, hey, I can still find a way to make it happen. But when you succeed and you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, then you got a real problem. There's two things that control everything in your life. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every action you have in your life. What you're wearing today, whether you're going to turn this off within a few minutes or whether you're going to stick with me here for 2 or 3 minutes, is all controlled by two things: your beliefs and your values. Whatever you believe, if you think life is just a waste of time, doesn't matter what you do, or, you're big boned, then obviously you're not going to go for it. You're not going to try to lose weight. You're not going to go push for that next level of your career or your finances or your relationship or anything else. Beliefs control us, but so do our values. Some people, value just kicking back. Some people value making it happen. Some people value their family the most. Some people value love. But you know what the real challenge is? When we have values in conflict. When you really want to make a difference in the world, or you really want to do well for your family, or you really want to do well financially, but simultaneously, you don't want to upset anybody. You want to be totally honest, and you want to make everybody happy. When we have conflicts between what we want and what we think we can have, or, you have a goal of what you really want to make happen, but then you have this other belief inside that says, this damn stuff never does work. Those inner conflicts are what keep people from using all of their energy. It's kind of like taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Used to be people kind of ran on kind of 7-year cycles. It's kind of an arbitrary number, but think about it. From 17 to 24 is kind of a stage of life for a lot of people. From 24 really to about 31, that's another stage of life. 32 to 39 or 40 years old, another stage. 40 to 47, another stage. And those are random numbers, but what I mean is people tend to have an idea of what they think life's about. It's my kids, it's building my business, it's making money, it's God, it's family, it's whatever it is. And then they go for it for a period of time, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, maybe 10. But then there's a time in which people begin to question. They begin to look at their life and they begin to say, is this really what I want? Have you found yourself with that at any time? And then they do one of two things. They either recommit and they go for another 7 years and they take it to another level, or they make a strategic decision that shifts the direction of their life. Either way, your decisions control your destiny. And if you don't choose, that's a choice as well. Some people just kind of stay in the middle in that lukewarm place, not sure what they really want. So this is kind of off the cuff. What I'm really trying to say to you is, maybe the question to ask is, where do I want my life to be today? And where am I really going? What is my destiny? What's going to fill me up? What's going to give me the meaning for my life? That's going to give me joy in my life, not just achievement, but real enjoyment, a sense of meaning and aliveness.
I absolutely know I will be the greatest entrepreneur of this era because I'm going to win on the two fronts that people are going to judge by. I'll make enough money so that I'm in the conversation, and I will inspire and help more entrepreneurs than the rest of the field combined. I'm talking all of them. Because what Elon Musk does in his actions to inspire is incredible. It's incredible. And Steve Jobs, but what I'm doing is different. And I know it. The end. And by the way, it's because I want it more.
Right.
It's not that I'm better, or I just want that. That's the part I want. It's what this whole thing is. That's why the documented, people don't even understand what I'm actually doing. I'm leaving so much, from a businessman standpoint, I'm leaving so much money on the table.
Right. But money's not the goal.
No. You know what's funny for me? Money stopped being a goal at $100,000. I couldn't believe I made $100,000 a year.
Right.
I was like, that was it. Right. And since then, nothing's been the same. Doesn't feel the same. Not 1 million, not 10 million, doesn't feel the same. 100,000.
Is it ever okay to violate core values to achieve a goal?
Okay. So first of all, really obvious, your values and your goals should be aligned. Mm-hmm. They should not be adversarial. They shouldn't be counter to each other. And if you think about what your goals are, your goals should be set up in a way that they support your values, and vice versa. That's just the way it is. So I'm not sure where this is going to be an issue. If you're setting up goals that are contrary to your values, you got some issues. Now, I guess if you had the goal of winning the blue belt jiu-jitsu championships, and in order to win, you cheated, like you claimed someone was reaping your leg and you said, you tap and you get the guy to qualified and you win. That could be an example, right?
Yeah.
Now, do I support that? No. That's wrong. You go win against the values of martial arts to do that. So you didn't win anything and you didn't achieve your goal because you weren't actually the best. Right. So I say no on that one. Another one, let's say you wanted to make a certain level of profit at your company. So you cheated a little bit on the quality of the manufacturing and you sold items that weren't quite reliable. Do I support that? No, right? And why? Let me tell you why. Because your goal is not even aligned with your goal itself. Because when you start making substandard manufactured items, what's going to happen in the long run? People are going to say, hey, we don't like these.
Yeah.
We're not going to buy them anymore. So you didn't win. You might have won in the short term, but you didn't win. And again, you're going against your value. You should have values that you don't want to, take profit over making good product. And again, in the long run, that value is going to cost you, right? People aren't going to want to buy your product anymore.
We do so many different things. So this is the question I sometimes get. How can you do so many different things? Why don't you stick to the knitting? The kind of traditional advice would be to stay focused and keep the business simple. And the way I think about this is we actually do stick to one thing. It's just not described. It's not the business itself. We do web services, which is big enterprises buying compute services from us, and we have our retail business, and we have Amazon Studios, which is making original content, Amazon Go, the things you listed. So, but the cultural thread that runs through all these things is the same. We only have a few principles at Amazon, kind of core values that we go back to over and over again. And if you looked at each of the things that we do, you would see those run straight through everything. So the first one, and by far the most important one, is customer obsession. And we talk about it as customer obsession as opposed to competitor obsession. And I have seen over and over again companies talk about that they're customer focused, but really when I pay close attention to them, I believe they are competitor focused. And that's just a completely different mentality. By the way, competitor focus can work, but I don't think it works in the long run as well as customer focused. For one thing, once you're the leader, if your whole culture is competitor obsessed, it's kind of hard to stay energized and motivated if you're out in front. Whereas customers are always unsatisfied. They're always discontent. They always want more. And so no matter how far you get out there in front of your competitors, you're still behind your customers. So they're always pulling you along. So customer obsession is a deep principle that underlies everything we do. Another one is eagerness to invent. So we love to pioneer. And when we have done, by the way, whenever we have tried to do something in a kind of Me Too fashion, we have failed at it. We need to have something that is differentiated, unique, something that customers are going to like, that we're kind of leading with. So that's another element that works for us. And then another one is long-term thinking. We are willing to take some time and be patient with our business initiatives, and that runs through everything. So a lot of our competitors might have 2 to 3 year kind of time frames, and we might have more of a 5 to 7 year sort of time frame. And then the last one, operational excellence. So literally, how do you have high standards around, identifying defects, fixing defects at the root, all of those kinds of things that lead to what I think also can be in a simpler way, just stated as professionalism, that you want to do things right just for the sake of doing them right.
Values aren't created, they're discovered. And they're discovered through a consultation with the parts of yourself that you're not conscious of, that you're not fully conscious of, that aren't articulated, that aren't fully articulated elements of your primary personality. You have to discover what your values are. And you're informed about that, well, partly by other people who will object if your values aren't appropriate, but certainly by a dialogue with yourself and with your conscience. That's a very important thing to know. It's part of the reason why I think that you need to tell the truth, because you're forced to negotiate with yourself to operate properly in the world. And if you've warped yourself, let's say, or some elements of yourself by engaging in self-deception and lies, and you're not now, because of that, you're not who you could be, and you don't live in the world as you should live in it, then when you discuss with yourself what your value should be, it will be as if you're discussing it with someone that you can't trust. And that's not good. Like, you can't afford that. Life is difficult and it contains many pitfalls. And unless you're careful and you sort yourself out properly and you aim high and walk on the straight and narrow path, you don't have a hope of understanding where you should be and at what time when the crisis hits. And the crisis will hit.
Let's say I'm just really superficial and I value money more than anything. Like, I've got like a fleet of yachts and it's all I care about, you know? And then something happens in my life and I realize that that's pretty superficial. I should like grow up a bit and, you know, value something else. And it's not as simple as just deciding. Like, we've all had that experience in our lives where we wish we cared about something that we don't, or vice versa. We wish we didn't care about something that we do, and you can't just stop. And so the process that I describe in the book is that essentially before you can commit to a new value, you kind of have to like try them on. Like it's like going to a store and trying on a bunch of pairs of clothes. And the way you try on a new value is you need to sit down and visualize. And you can even write it out if you want. But it's like, let's say all I care about is my fleet of boats, and I want to try on a new value, like charity or something. I have to sit down and start asking myself, what would it mean for my life? What would it mean for me as a person if I didn't value those boats anymore? And that's a very hard question. It really messes us up because we realize that a lot of our relationships would probably fall apart. A lot of our business commitments would probably fall apart. A lot of our understanding of ourselves would be shaken up or questioned. And it's a very difficult thing to ask. And so, you know, most of the times when you see visualization taught in the self-help industry, it's like they take a guy who wants a fleet of boats and they say, visualize a fleet of boats. Now go get it. And it's like, no. What you need to do is take a guy who wants a fleet of boats and say, visualize not wanting a fleet of boats. What would that say about you? Who would you be if that thing you always desired was not your desire anymore?
For me, I never did anything for money, right? So it was never about money. My experience has been when people do things for money, you make bad choices. Find what you love, and then you'll learn how to make money doing what you love. When I changed careers, I was never changing to something for money. I was changing to something I loved more. Right, and that to me, that's really the only way to keep the passion. If you have two choices, and one is playing the piano, and another one is, you know, bowling, and you can make more money bowling, but you love playing the piano more, you got to play the piano. It's like you'll tear yourself apart if you're not doing the thing that you love most in life. And you know what it is right now. Right now, there's something that you love more than everything. Whatever it is that you love crazy has to be the thing that you dedicate your life.
What is human value? Money? Oh yes, very important. Sometimes I jokingly used to telling the Buddhist audience, particularly Tibetan, you usually used to recite one Tibetan special sort of mantra, that is Om Mani Padme Hum. So we recite, sometimes we a little bit of hurry. Then we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Then Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani, Mani. So that sounds, looks like money, 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 like that. So maybe dollar money, or pound money, like that. So, but of course, what I think value. And of course, all these external, the facilities, there's valuable things, good. But all these provide physical comfort, not mental comfort. If you have plenty of money, then some kind of satisfaction in their mental level. Oh, I have a lot of money. That is illusion, actually, because we notice among the billionaire, plenty of money, but as a person, very unhappy person, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety, a lot of suspicion, a lot of jealousy. As a person, billion money fail to bring inner peace. Billion money bring more suspicion, more uncomfortable, more worry. Anyone who truly believes if you have money, everything can solve. Everything, because of that, then you get real 100% satisfaction. That's, I think, illusion. Money can bring some friend, but that essentially friend of money, not friend of being yourself. Your fortune go like that. You become richer, richer, richer. You found more friends. When your fortune goes like that, then these friends also, I think, disappear. Even you want to telephone, they may not answer. Isn't it? So these friends are not genuinely your friend, but a friend of your money.
My parents worked hard to pay the bills and to keep a roof over our heads. But even though my parents couldn't give us material things, they gave us something much more precious. They gave me and my brother strong values. They taught us to treat others with dignity and respect. They taught us to push for excellence in every single thing we did. They taught us to be humble and to be grateful for everything we had. They taught us to put every last bit of effort into our education and to take pride in our work. They taught us that our circumstances didn't define us, and that if we believed in ourselves, if we made the most of every single opportunity, we could build our own destinies and accomplish anything we put our minds to.
I had this idea that I was going to, buy and sell crash cars, right? So I'll buy it at $5,000, put $2,500 into it, and then sell it at $10,000. It's simple. And if you put the math together, I was going to do that every month, and then they would start compounding in 2-3 years. I was going to be a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
Pretty much simple. I had it all planned out.
How'd that go for
and
you?
I love joking and saying Mike Tyson's, theory is, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, and life will punch you in the face. I pretty much got punched in the face probably 6 months into it. And then I found myself working at Red Lobster with none of that money because I was trying to do it for money.
Yeah.
I really hate working on cars because I can't work on them. My hands are really buttery soft. My hands feel like veal. I'm not supposed to work on a car, man. And I'm thinking,
At least you know that about yourself, though. I love that.
I knew it myself after the first transmission, crushed my foot, and then I was real like, you know what? I think hats are better. But again, a lot of people out there chasing their dream, but their dream is to just be rich, and that's not a dream. If you try to go out and make money for the purpose of making money, first of all, you could end up in the wrong place due to it. You could be miserable. And then when you get it, if you don't have no goal on why you were trying to achieve this goal, you feel unfulfilled.
The first thing that you have to ask is, what are your highest values? So for me, for example, my number one highest value is God. My number 2 value is my health. My number 3 value is my family. My number 4 value is contribution to the lives of others. My number 5th value is fun. So every day when I wake up, I think about what am I doing today to connect with God? For me, just for me. It doesn't have to be, it's not religious, it's just for me. Then what do I need to do every day to make sure that I'm healthy? What I need to do every day to make sure that my family and my dear close friends who are part of my family, that I have the relationship that's rich. Then contribution. How do I use my passion, my gifts, my stories, my things I've not done well, things I have done well? How do I share that with the world? And in doing that, I feel good. and then I have to have fun. And so if I do those 5 things every day, then at the end of every day, I've had a great day. And if you have a lot of great days, then you end up with a really great life. And that doesn't mean that you don't have ups and downs and things that don't work and trouble that happens and things that come up. But if you keep your focus on what's important, then the rest of the stuff is really inconsequential. And there isn't 100 different things you have to do. There's 2 or 3 things in each one of the areas that's important to you that when you do those every day, you're so far ahead of the curve.
I mentioned earlier the work Built to Last. It was very interesting. We were studying enduring great companies in contrast to others. I went back recently and realized we selected the study set for that study in 1989, 2 decades ago. All 18 of the Built to Last companies are still standalone, independent, and almost all of them very successful companies today. If you took a random sample of large publicly traded companies 20 years ago, what are the probabilities that all 18 in your random sample would be standalone, independent, and largely successful today? The number is less, the percentage is about 0.02% probability. Not only that, 15 of the 18 Built to Last companies lived through the 1930s depression. What do they teach us? What has enabled them to have that? What did we find that separated them? And what we found is that what really separated them was not necessarily that they had smarter strategies, although they often did, or that they were sort of more financially savvy, although they often were. It was because they were founded first and foremost and built always on a rock-solid set of core values that are not open for negotiation. And if you look at what gave them the reason to struggle, the reason to fight, the reason to endure, it wasn't strategic, it was values.
If you think about a retail environment where people are buying things in a retail environment, the retailer has a whole bunch of control. They choose the products, they design the store or the catalog, they train the salespeople, they control the experience. And if there's a problem with a salesperson, they retrain and so on and so forth. At eBay, our customer's experience is based on how one customer interacts with another customer, okay? And you can't control customer behavior. So the only thing you can do is have a certain set of values that you encourage people to adopt. And the only way your customers are going to adopt those values is if they see that you're living those values as well. So when I say that I believe people are basically good, it's because I believe people are basically good. I mean, it's not something that I came up with for eBay. And if I say that you should treat people with the benefit of the doubt, it's because I believe in that as a way of life. And we have to do it internally at eBay, at the company, as well, because if we don't, then eventually that seeps through and customers will see that, and that will harm our business because we can't control customer behavior. So our business is based on that.
For the first 50 years of my life, Vishen, I thought that my life was about me. I had the attitude of a 10-year-old or a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old, but I had that attitude when I was 29 or 39. I thought I wasn't a bad person. I'm not trying to paint myself as this horrible individual, but I was fairly self-centered. I was looking at my own career, my own goals, my own objectives, my own needs, my own wants, my own desires. I tried to be even-handed about it. If somebody helped me out, I tried to give back if I could, and all those things that we're taught to do, but basically my life was focused on me. Fascinatingly, even though my life was focused on me virtually all the time, my life wasn't working. I mean, at some point in my life, I really got, gosh, I can't seem to find happiness that lasts more than a little while. I can't seem to find success that lasts more than a little while. Everything is so ephemeral. It just comes in and goes out, comes in and goes out. I never seem to get anywhere to the top of the mountain. When is the struggle over? That's what I was experiencing when I had my first conversation with God. So that's the context, that's the background, why I was given that wisdom. Because I asked God, okay, obviously there's something here I don't understand. I've listened to what my daddy told me. I listened to what my mommy told me. I listened to what my religion told me. I listened to what my culture told me. but there's some missing data. I felt that there was just some information that was missing. So I said to God, what is it? What is it that I don't understand here? The understanding of which would change everything. And God said to me, Neil, it's really very simple. And then she said what you just said here. Neil, your life is not about you. Your life is about everyone else whose life you touch and the way in which you touch it. And I said, well, I don't understand. I'm supposed to give up everything that I ever wanted or desired or hoped for, or give up all of my goals, all of my objectives. And she said, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You don't have to set aside all of your goals, set aside all of your objectives, set aside all of the things, all of your desires. No, I didn't say that. But it's about achieving them, working toward them, moving toward them in a whole different way for a whole different reason. If you're doing those things to enrich the lives of everyone whose life you touch, watch the world fall in on you with wonder and joy and celebration. But if you're doing those things together, to gather, get, have more, that you just you just want to get as much as you can for yourself. If that's your prime motivation, you're going to be struggling every day for the rest of your life.
When Asher made I Love College, it was in the basement of this house I was renting, this crap hole that had rats everywhere. We used to call it the greenhouse because the truth is he was smoking so much weed down there. But that night, he wasn't smoking weed because he never smoked when Justin was around. But he recorded I Love College, and Justin actually was in the studio. He was with studio. It was like a little crap room in the basement. My buddy was doing engineering. But we all kind of came up together, and there's this really great picture of me, Asher, and Justin on the front porch of that house. And no one knew who Justin was. I mean, there's videos of Asher and me with Ludacris, and everyone's hyped because Asher and Ludacris are in the same room. And they don't notice there's this little kid sitting behind us.
Chilling.
It's Justin.
And he was 12 when this...
He was at that time 13, 14.
When you first had him move to Atlanta?
Yeah, he was 13 when I had him move. I found him when he was... the videos, he was 12.
Yeah.
But he, just the whole adventure to kind of... You respect everything so much more. And it also reminds you when you get money that tomorrow isn't promised.
Yeah.
And you value everything, because you know what it's like to be a big promoter and have all kinds of money and then literally be paying for pizza with change because you spent it all trying to make it.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the Best Life 30 questions of the day. It's not enough to just watch a video, you have to do something. So pull out your worksheets and answer these questions, and if you don't have the worksheets and you want them for free, check out the link in the description below. Question number 1, what is your most important core value and why? Number 2, where are you living inconsistently with your core value? And number 3, what steps will you take to change to match your core value to your life? And if you are doing the Best Life 30 challenge with me, put a hashtag Best Life 30 down in the comments below so we can celebrate with you.
If you don't get this right, your business will fail. It's not just about what you love doing and the skill sets you have, it's about having similar core values as the people that you bring on board. You need to know what your who is. You need to know what you stand for as a human being. You need to know what your mission is and bring people on board who have similar core values. This is where so many entrepreneurs fail. If you only do a self-assessment and say, well, I'm great at this. I'm gonna be the technician. I'm gonna be the artist. I'm gonna be the coder. I'm gonna be the one doing all of the actual work. And I need to partner up with somebody who's a business person, who's gonna be doing the deals and the media and raising the capital and talking to investors and doing the sales pitches. It's not enough to say, well, I'm good at this and you're good at this, so let's get together. And that's what so many people do. That's why so many business partnerships fail, because you're just looking at it on paper. You're just saying, well, they have the skill sets I don't have. Great, let's work together. Boom, we're in business. And oftentimes entrepreneurs will then say, hey, well, let's do 50-50, right? You're bringing this, I'm bringing this, so here we go, 50-50 partnership. And for those who've been through it before, you know how much of a disaster that can be. Because everything looks good on paper, but you can't make a decision just based off of paper. It's like going to a dating website and putting in your ideal person and then deciding to marry that person without ever going on a date. It's about core values. Why do things fall apart? Because you don't share the same core values. And a lot of times you don't even know what your own core value is to start with. So you figure out your one word. Your most important core value. That's the starting point. You have to figure it out. I mean, it'll serve you not just for your business, but for any relationship, for life. This is what you stand for as a human. And then you want to attract people who not just have the skill set and the desire, but the same core value. Because you know what? The skill set is actually easier to teach than the core value. To make somebody change their beliefs, I don't know how to do it. It's crazy, it's ridiculous. To give somebody a new skill set is way easier to teach.
If you want to join the Best Life 30 Challenge, click the link right here below me. Or if you want some more videos to dive deeper into your core values, check out the playlist right there next to me. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.